30. So, dirty old chopper. Progress. As you just heard, it was running. It sounds really tappety and tinny. I don't know why. Only in the video. In real life, it sounds really loud and really meaty. So I assume it's just the echo. It's sort of in the garage, and the camera and the way it picks it up. These slash cut exhausts are brutally loud, and there's no way that I'll get an MOT tester to pass those. So I'm going to have to somehow baffle them or just do something before I can build my sort of fishtail up pointed system that I'm going to go with. So yes, the big news. Oh yeah, some of the more small news. I've been messing about with this to make sure the gears all change, and I've been sort of spinning the back wheel and I can get all the gears to change. So that's great news. Also, Phil's mate Dave could not help me with the lathing. He didn't have time, so I did it myself. I'm actually really pleased. I've done a really good job on these. You can see on this one there's some really horrible tool marks, and that's only on this face, which is decorative, but the proper face is here, and that's actually a really good proper face I've got on there. That's a really nice fit as well, so I'm quite pleased with what I've done there. It's good enough. It's good enough for now anyway, that's for sure, because I mean eventually I'll change these for some nicer ones, but for the moment, because I intend to sort of build them from scratch and then have them chromed. But yeah, these will be able to, that means I can bolt the front wheel on. So when I had it running, it seemed to be leaking oil, and I'm wondering if it's leaking the oil here. Is it coming out of this? Maybe I need to reseal that. That would explain where the oil's coming from. Yeah. Okay, I think I found that then. So yeah, the oil puddle here has come from this bolt, which I assume is some sort of pickup or feed, or I need to find out what that is. Well, that's handy to find that. I also found that all the cables were pretty much seized or not very free. I found that when I was revving it, this was sticking. Now I've oiled them all. They all flick back. So this really should be one of the ones that has a flow and return sort of wire. But with one, it's fine as long as it's greased up. Well, sprayed up. I brought one of these cable oiler things, and it's made a big difference. I'm just doing this one here. That's been done as well. What else am I up to? Oh, so I spent quite a lot of time. I spent a whole day, in fact, fitting some ape hangers. So these are 14-inch to the Harley, so that's taken quite a lot of my time. That was literally a full day, but I have been working on the chopper. What else are we looking at? So something else I need to do is I've replaced these bolts going through here, because I thought the others are 40 years old. So I guess you could say, well, they've been there for 40 years, they're not going to snap. Or you could say they're 40 years old, it's time to replace them. So I've replaced them, and the ones that I've bought to replace it are slightly longer, so I'm going to have to cut those off. Because these ones, they were obviously cut by a blind man with his eyes shut. So yeah, cable's greased. I've had it running. It seems to be going all right. Once I get the wheel on, I can then hopefully start it up and see if it will ride in any way, shape or form down my road, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Well, the answers to the questions nobody was asking. Yes, it runs very badly, it stalls, but I can kind of get it revving, and I can kind of go up and down the road. What I don't get is when I brake, this whole thing pivots forward and it feels really weird, but I don't know if that's just how springers are. It compresses all the springer when you brake, and all this moves round, it sort of strains, which is kind of weird. And we can't fail to notice the enormous oil leak. It's massive. I can't work out where it's coming from. So this thing turned out to be the cam chain tensioner, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've resealed it and there's no oil coming from there. The oil seems to be coming from in here. There's a bolt there. There's a bolt in here. It seems to be coming from here. I don't know. It's really hard to tell where it's coming from. It could be coming from the filter, or it could be that it's dropping onto the filter, but obviously it can't go upwards, so it's really hard to tell. So I don't know where the oil's coming from, but it's certainly in in there, you can see there's a nut that's fallen off, but that is all full of oil. So it's coming from above there. I don't know. I can't really work out where it's coming from. So there's a lot of oil, and the carburetors leak like a sieve. So this one was initially leaking. I give it a tap of a hammer, now it's stopped. Now this one has started leaking epic loads. So this one is now leaking a lot. So I need to try and address that at some point as well. Yeah, it's when I was riding it up and down the road, and I wasn't riding it very fast, the front end really falls over quickly. That kind of drop angle is not very good, so I don't know if that's too much rake or what's it called? Not caster. Either way, there's too much of something. Trail. There's probably too much trail, which is why it falls over so quick. So maybe that trail angle needs fixing. But yeah, the oil leak at the moment is a bit of a killer, because I can't really. I mean, that's only riding it for like 5 minutes. That's some epic oil leaking, that is. The rear brake works perfectly, but the front one is pretty crap, to say the least, and I've sort of tightened it up. The clutch at the moment is kind of binary. It only really does something on the very end of its play. So I'll need to. I don't really understand why that is. Maybe I've adjusted it too much. Yeah, maybe it's not releasing. I'm not quite sure. See it going up and down. So that's on the list. So there's a lot of things on the list at the moment, and yeah, that oil leak's really the main showstopper, because I can't do much. The other stuff I can start fixing, but it's a little bit fatal, that is. So this is very interesting. I've had the bike running because it keeps leaking bloody oil, and I had an American guy say, cover all the front in talc. So I've put talc everywhere, and he said, you'll soon see where it's leaking. And it's not leaking anywhere other than in here. And I can see, I'm going to point you at a screwdriver so I can see myself later. It's hard to see. Bloody hard to see. There we go. It's really hard to see quite where it's leaking from, but I'm not sure if it's. I could wedge this torch in.